Just talking about the achievements that I think are of a high standard within my range of basketball. I think that the first time I coached the New South Wales State Under-18 team, the team consisted of 6 under 15 or 15 or under girls, and we played in the Australian titles at Maddox Street, Alexandria. That was the official opening for the stadium. The girls played exceptionally well that year. They lost, they got beaten by Victoria and South Australia, and that was the only time that they lost in the next 3 years. And that team, apart from 1 or 2 coming in to fill up girls that actually left in the age group, that team stayed together 3 years. I think that's probably the highlight of my basketball coaching career. As far as basketball itself is concerned, I remember very vividly playing my first game at the age of 5 back in 1942. The team we played against and beat us by 100 points, and I couldn't understand why my teammates were all crying, because they were 9 and 10, I was just 5. And my mother told me that the boys didn't like losing by 100 points, and I said, what? I didn't know what a score was because I couldn't hit the basket. It was 10 foot high. We played in 10 foot high baskets. But the beauty of it is that 3 years later, we actually beat that team, and it was Coronation Playground. I remember 5 of the players, and I still talk to 2 of them who are still around at the present moment. But apart from that, there's so many other highlights. Making my first state team, being involved with the Australian scene, being involved with my first competition at City of Sydney, which was my first association, having come out of the playgrounds, and also I spent a lot of time at the CYOs and the YMCAs. A very good friend of mine, Ken Harvey. I've known Ken for quite a few years, and we get together pretty well. He's involved in wheelchair basketball the same as I am. And that is another highlight at the present moment, is involved in New South Wales basketball, because I've coached New South Wales women, the men and the juniors. So as you can see, I've got a lot of highlights. Very hard to pick one. If I've got to pick one, I can only say that over the period of time that I've been involved, I've had all the help and support from everybody within the New South Wales structure of basketball. I only hope that continues to keep going. What does this induction mean to me? To me, it gives me the opportunity to thank all the people, and I mean all of them, that have helped me throughout my career. Because without coaches and managers and adults in my childhood bringing me through the system, I wouldn't have been where I am today. I was very fortunate enough to be able to be involved with a lot of people that have come through the New South Wales basketball system. A lot of people that have been involved with me will remember. I just can't remember all their names, but all I'd like to do is thank everybody that has been involved with what I've gone through, what I've done, what I've achieved, and what has led to this award. Thanks. My most notable memories. Picking up a basketball and learning how to put the ball behind my back. A person by the name of George Thompson taught me that. As a lot of people in this room would know, George was the president of the Manly Ringer Basketball Association, but also a really great teammate of mine when I used to play with Paratels. And he was the one that taught me how to do this behind the back dribble. At the time, coaches thought they were all showing off, but I loved it. And I think that's the reason why basketball today has improved so much, because the kids of today are trying things that we, when we started, wouldn't even think of. future of basketball in New South Wales is a long-term goal, which includes able-bodied and wheelchair. At the present moment, the structure that has been put into place with the Institute of Sport at the higher level and the competition that's been run in Sydney and in the country is starting to gather momentum, and we need to continue to keep that momentum growing. I hope the output coming from all the people that are involved in the New South Wales programs continue to keep working as hard as they can, because I can only see the game getting bigger and bigger.